it's a great day for the society. I'm going to invite Cantor to have a few words, because obviously he's the top man, and he's doing this all over Britain, as he will probably have told you already, or he will do. Can I hand over to you now, Ken?
Okay. Well, thanks so much, Jeff. We're really thrilled you're able to Openville this morning. Well, thanks so much everyone for coming. My name is Kenneth Bannerman. I'm the Director General, the founder and head of the Airfields of Britain Conservation Trust, or as we call it alternatively for short, ABCT. We're essentially the world's first national airfield charity. It's quite revolutionary what we're doing in various ways. And we're really pleased to be here along with Jeff to unveil this Tain airfield. Give you a quick background on the airfield and its general history. Although we're not talking about here, which was also locally unofficially known as Morich, the airfield history for Tain actually really goes back to 1934, when Sir Alan Cobham mounted one of his one-day airfields, very important for his National Aviation Day displays. This happened all across Britain, and although this airfield was just open for less than 24 hours, this other airfield, where we don't know the location, but it was certainly in the Morangy part of Tain, more on the north side of the town. That place was hugely important just in its own, because if nothing else, a young boy who was taken there that day in the late spring of 1934 by his grandmother became one of Britain's greatest ever pilots, Duncan Simpson, who famously later became Hawker's chief test pilot, and he participated in the development of such famous military aircraft as the Harrier jump jet. Over 3 years later, what still remains today the bombing and firing range came into existence at the turn of 1937-38, and as often happened with these range facilities of that era, they came equipped with a very small grass landing ground, no facilities or anything. They were airfields, but they were only very irregularly used, and we reflect this in a way indirectly through this memorial, but also especially our very popular 3,000-page website. It was irregularly used. Come the start of World War II, by all accounts the landing ground was obstructed to stop enemy aircraft landing. But then in the autumn of 1940, the land that became Tain Airfield was officially requisitioned. Along with that, roughly the same time, for Clay of Allen, which became far better known as Fern, where incidentally we'll be unveiling another similar memorial today at 2:30 this afternoon. So naturally everyone's welcome to attend that event as well. That's at the far end of the industrial estate at the airfield. There was the usual construction work over the next year or so, and Tain opened in the middle of September 1941. It was built as a fighter sector station for RAF Fighter Command. But over the next 18 months, it saw a whole variety of use, as did so many other airfields across the UK. There were Halifax heavy bombers that came here in detachment to try and attack the feared German battleship Tirpitz. Fleet Air Army aircraft came along as well, and also notably among other units that came, there was the Coastal Command Development Unit, a very important experimental unit, which came from Ballykelly in Northern Ireland, another famous airfield. This is a famous airfield, Tain. Came from Ballykelly in the early summer of 1942, and then in the spring of 1943 relocated again to Dale Airfield in southwest Wales, Pembrokeshire. Now that's very important, because round about that time, just beforehand in February 1943, Tain switched from Fighter Command to Coastal Command, and this is when the airfield really started to gain significant prominence. There were Bristol Beaufighter strike squadrons based here for anti-shipping duties, and then activity moved up further gear again in the early summer of 1944, whereby there were squadrons that were using consolidated Liberators and a Checkman squadron flying Vickers Wellingtons. This was all for maritime patrol and anti-submarine use. So Tain played a very big part in the winning of World War II. Right at the end of the conflict, for example, this place, which sank several U-boats, in some respects famously sank the German U-boat U-534. This was only about 2 or 3 days before the war ended. But as some people now know, many years later, U-534 was actually raised from the seabed, and it's now a museum exhibit at Birkenhead in Merseyside. So after the war ended, Tain carried on being very busy for a while. Then it became the satellite airfield to Kinloss, and then the final unit, which had previously come from a place, you'll know the name anyhow, Turnberry, it then relocated to famous Sussex airfield Thorney Island at the end of 1946, and by this time the airfield was starting to heavily run down. Now we've even managed to trace the closing date as early summer 1947. We really had to dig to get that date, but this is all part of education why we're creating these memorials. And then it is not unknown that the airfield still lingered in a loose military capacity for many years. I think it's fair to say that even up to the end of the 1950s, and this was long after Jeff and his colleagues came here in 1954, reading through rather obscure official records at the National Archives, you do get the feeling anyhow that the authorities were still maybe thinking about reopening Tain. But by the end of the 50s it became fairly obvious that it was just going to be permanently disused, and it more or less reverted back to being part of the bombing ranges and so on. Now a lot of the airfield has now disappeared since then. We've got the very iconic control tower, which incidentally we feature on the homepage of our website. All the hangars have gone. There's also the operations block about a mile away from here. So, but although a lot of especially the buildings have gone, this place is still phenomenally important to every single one of us in so many ways, not just historically and militarily, but also especially socially. And this is the case with all of Britain's airfields, that we just can't afford to lose these places in our everyday lives. Theoretically, if airfields never existed in this country, our lives would be enormously impoverished in so many ways. Jobs, facilities, services, you name it. We just can't afford to lose places like Tain. And that's why we can only just ask you within reason to do all you reasonably can to help save and honour not only our airfields, both active and disused, but also not forgetting all the personnel like Jeff and his colleagues who've served here over the years since especially the late summer of 1941. We can't afford to lose our history or forget the places and people. So just do everything you can to help keep these places going. Thank you all very much again for your time, and therefore we are really pleased and honoured to be unveiling this memorial. I should just quickly say as well, by the way, just before we unveil it, that if it's of interest, we were unveiling a memorial a year ago at Eventon Airfield, and also at Fort George Airfield. I bet you never knew that one. There was a seaplane base there in World War I. But when we were at Eventon, I always remember that the person who kindly attended the event there said, and these are the exact words, "If any airfield is crying out for a memorial, it's Tain." Now, I'd known of this place for many years. Let's just say I know this general part of the world for now sadly past family reasons, the Murray Firth area. But it had struck me, even long before the charity started, that indeed this was one place that really absolutely had to get a memorial up and running. And here we now are, after who knows how many years, but we're finally here. So therefore we are really pleased and honoured to be unveiling this memorial, which incidentally is our 84th memorial. We're hoping to get about 200 of them unveiled at the end of this year alone. And in this case to another of our truly irreplaceable top assets in the UK, the one and only Tain Airfield. Thank you all very much.